What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. We're going to start off this episode by reacting to the top 25 that was released yesterday. We were a little late to it. Going off of the first five, I really do respect Arizona as the number one team. However, UConn lost to them at home. I understand that, but they were missing two key players. And, while you have to go off the fact that Arizona's undefeated and they did beat UConn, I do think that UConn is my national champion pick. As soon as I saw that they signed Solo Ball in the offseason, I was just like, yeah, it's their time. They almost won it last year if they hadn't lost to the national champion. So I'm a firm believer in that. There's a lot of things that go on in sports, like the Patriots three-peat got canceled by the Eagles, the Chiefs three-peat got canceled by the Eagles, and then the UConn's three-peat got canceled by Florida. So maybe they get their revenge this year. I'm not so sure about Gonzaga. They're at number 6. I was high on Gonzaga, and then I saw what happened when they played Michigan, and it kind of just makes you wonder. I think Iowa State could probably beat them on a neutral court or hold their own, maybe win by 5, lose by 5 kind of game. I think Houston could hold their own against Gonzaga. I think Nebraska could hold their own against Gonzaga. I think Michigan State could hold their own against... Not that Gonzaga couldn't lose to an unranked team or something like that. I just think that some of these teams, while they might not have the record, they have the strength of schedule, and you never know. I mean, who knows what would happen if Arizona or UConn, Duke, Michigan, Illinois played in that conference, the West Coast Conference. So Kansas over Texas Tech. Interesting that they called that before Kansas went on the road and beat Texas Tech. I'm just trying to see if they have any teams like Purdue. Obviously lost to Illinois at home, so they have Illinois above them. I like that. I hate when they disregard head-to-head. That really just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. St. Louis, love to see that. Miami, Ohio, you will see I have them losing tonight to Buffalo. I think it's their time. I thought they were going to lose the first time they played Buffalo because it was the first day that they had the ranking in front of their name. And usually that's a curse, especially for mid-majors. But I think it catches up to them today on the road against Buffalo. They beat them in overtime, barely. They had to crawl their way back. And even against Kent State too, this team is, in my opinion, playing on borrowed time. And if we're looking at Arizona and Miami as the last two undefeated teams, one of them's got to kick soon, right? Nebraska just dropped 2 in a row. I think you got to lose one eventually, right? And I'd honestly, for Miami, I would hope for them to lose now rather than in their conference tournament and mess up their seeding or something. Tennessee at 25, I don't really understand that personally. I know that they're probably a talented team. Like Louisville, I understand. Maybe a little more than Tennessee, but Tennessee just hasn't shown much this year in the SEC. As competitive as it is, it seems like it's having a tad bit of a down year. You say that and then watch them win the national championship. But they're playing Ole Miss today. I'm not very high on that Ole Miss team, so they could scratch a win there. I do believe they'll go on the road at Kentucky and win because for some reason only the road team wins in those matchups for the past 3 years. It's just some tradition they're trying not to break. St. John's in the top 22. I do have DePaul winning tonight. I love DePaul. I can't hate on them. Same with Arkansas in the top 25. I feel like some of these 25, 22, 21 teams are kind of fringe in there. They could be in there, but maybe there's other teams that deserve just a 15 seconds of fame, if anything. Virginia, I like what they're doing this year. It's taken them a little bit to bounce back from Jay Wright departing as head coach, retiring, but they are certainly back on the map right next to last year's national champions. I honestly don't have much to say about this poll other than what I have already. The back 1/5 of it is not necessarily perfect in my eyes, but it's not bad. And I love this St. Louis GIF we got going on here that just keeps distracting me. I literally can't even think straight because I keep looking at it. But yeah, interestingly enough, I have two of these top 25 teams losing today. Or the UConn winning, obviously, we'll see that in a second, but I don't know. Can't really complain. They've been doing a pretty solid job with these, I think. At least better than previous years, better than college football, I'll admit. I don't know what they're doing with college football, but regardless, moving on. I don't know what prompted me to do this morning, but I looked up this, and I never realized that the screen does that. So if you didn't know that, now you know. Thought I would share that. So, moving into our picks here. I literally plugged a mouse into my computer, and I'm still using my touchpad. Something wrong with me. So moving in here, yesterday's picks, we had the blue here, means that it was got postponed, so it was voided. But a good amount of green, not necessarily as much as we'd like. This game here was tough. These two games were tough, and they were lost by a total of 5 points. This game was lost by 5 points. The Wolves just, I don't know. Anthony Edwards was like talking smack the whole game, and they lost by like 10. So I don't really understand that. Somehow the Hornets won, right? The Hornets win, even though their head coach headbutts LaMelo Ball and injures him. But then the Wolves lose after beating this team by like 20 the other day, 13. UNC barely did not cover their spread. Santa Fe Austin won. I believe it was like 67-60. Which was really the only upset I had on here. Sorry, I can't. Still getting used to this mouse. Really the only upset I had on here in terms of college basketball. And then the Avalanche lost to the Red Wings at home by 2-0, after they beat them 5-0 on the road. I don't know. The Islanders lost by 3, 4-1 on the road. But other than that, it wasn't terrible. The Predators were losing 5-3 going into the third period, and they ended up winning 6-3 or 6-5, which was cool. But it was really all for nothing. It got to a point last night where you'll see in some of these bets, like these games were kind of like nightcap games. Same with this one. So it was to a point where it was looking like this bet, the home locks, and it was ones that didn't have Wolves in it. So I guess it was this one. This one had the Wolves in it too. But this one was pretty close. Like, besides the Islanders, that one was close. Maybe it was this one that had no Islanders. I really don't remember. But there were two of these last night were looking promising until like the very end. Kansas hit those 2 late minute threes to win. Of course they did. Tennessee State, I don't know what they were doing. Obviously, I've already complained about them. They just wasn't their night on the road. Had a misplay on that one. Honestly, shouldn't really be throwing road teams on here. I think of all of these teams, there's only 2 road teams, and both of them lost. So that's part of the reason why I have this one. I think the home teams are always a little more reliable. The crowd is such a factor, especially for, I thought, the Avalanche, but no. And then even if it wasn't the crowd, you think the altitude or something would kick in eventually. Yeah, I was really high on this one. Yesterday I really thought this one was good. Tech blew it, Wolves blew it, Islanders were just never going to win, and Avalanche just... Who knows? But moving on into today's picks. College basketball, I like Buffalo to beat Miami, Ohio, as I stated already. I think it's their time. There's no really other reason than that. Obviously, they're the better team, but it's just, you got to lose a game eventually, right? You can't just go undefeated in your conference. It's kind of disrespectful to the MAC, in my opinion. Akron on the road against Eastern Michigan. I don't think Eastern Michigan is a bad team at home. I do think they're a bad team, though. Akron beat them by 20 at home. I do like Akron to win, but I don't know about the spread because Eastern Michigan, just as I said, plays very, like, almost passionate at home. They must have a good fan base or something. You know, what more is there to do in Eastern Michigan? I don't know. I've never been. Niagara at home against Canisius. They beat Canisius on the road, so we're just taking Niagara. Pretty cookie cutter response there. Sorry, I keep moving the thing. I'm just gonna stop touching. UConn over Xavier at home. Not much to say there. My national champion. I don't think they're gonna lose to a 12-10 team at home. Maybe on the road they'll play them close, but Tennessee at home against Ole Miss. I like Tennessee. This is their game before going on the road against Kentucky. Whether they win or lose, I think they win in Kentucky regardless, but some part of me hopes that they lose here for some reason, just so that they have more of a reason to play against Kentucky, so it further cements my understanding that they're going to win and that the road teams will win those kind of matchups between these two teams. VCU at home. Sorry, the app that I use is always out of sync with what I want. And I forgot to put a team. That's what it is. I forgot to put the most obvious team, Duke, to win at home over Boston College, the 9-12 team going against the 20-1 team. If Duke doesn't win by 40 here, I mean, they're favored by 25.5, which I think is just like, they want you to just have free money, which is cool. I'll take it. But if they don't win by 30, 40, something's wrong. Something's wrong, and the simulation is bugging. VCU on the road against Fordham. I really like VCU here. They beat Fordham. I think they beat Fordham. Maybe not. Even if they didn't, I looked at their similar opponents that they've played, and it's not really even close. VCU is just better, and they will prove it. Dayton at home against St. Bonaventure. I had really high hopes for this Dayton team this year. They started off really good, and then they've kind of been dropping here and there, dropping games. But I do like them to beat St. Bonaventure. I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams, although Dayton is favored by 9 at home. I do think that Dayton will win. Maybe not cover, but they will win. Toledo at home against Kent State. I like Toledo. Kent State is clearly the better team, but I just think Toledo plays good at home. This is a competitive conference, and it's kind of hard to take a road team at night, especially when the road teams in this conference don't really play as good as they should, besides the exception of Miami, Ohio, and maybe St. Louis. I'm not sure if I just connected two teams to the same conference that aren't in them, but if I did, whatever. South Carolina at Texas. I really like Texas here. South Carolina's not bad. If you watch that game that they had against LSU, they couldn't miss, but LSU's also not anything great this season. I don't think they're a tournament team by any regards. Texas could be. South Carolina might be bubble. Texas might be bubble. I haven't looked. But I don't really like to look at that stuff until it's really cemented and solidified, because so much changes in the last week. It's like, why even fill your brain with all that nonsense? I like Texas here. They're favored by 13. I just like them to win. I don't know about all that, those points, but I do think Texas is the better team. Ball State on the road against Bowling Green. I like Bowling Green. Ball State only has 7 wins. Bowling Green, I believe they played them once. If they didn't, it's another one of those VCU Fordham matchups, except I have VCU as in Bowling Green at home this time instead of on the road, so it's a little more trustworthy. Western Michigan on the road against Ohio. Ohio, also a team that I thought was going to be doing a little better this year, but they've been as good as I thought that they would be at home, so I'm going to take them here to cover the home spot. Central Michigan, one of the worst teams in the MAC, going against UMass at home. I like UMass. UMass is, I believe it's their first year in this conference, and they're doing very good. Can't really say that about their football squad this year, going winless, but their basketball team is showing somewhat of a promise. Imagine they make the tournament. I mean, imagine they make a run. My stepbrother went there too. That'd be crazy. Southern Illinois at Illinois State. I like Illinois State. Don't know too much about these teams, but if I had to pick one, Illinois State at home. They're favored by 8. I just like them. St. John's, 22 ranked St. John's. Also, I haven't been putting their ranking in front of them. I should be doing that. I'm surprised they have UConn ahead of Duke. And then, what's Tennessee 25? And then, I guess I'll see it as I go. I think St. Louis is like 21 or something. 16. They're like right behind Virginia. I found you. Moving on. I was at DePaul. I don't know what it is. I don't trust St. John's, and while they could win this game, I'm not really going to hammer this game at all. Probably not even going to put money on it. But I just think DePaul could cover here. I like DePaul. I think they could win. I have a soft spot for DePaul. I knew this kid when I was at school in North Dakota, and he just, for some reason, he chose DePaul as his favorite team because they were like, it was right after they had fired their coach. They were like 2 wins on the season, and it was just like, he had taken them to beat some crazy team that they were favored to lose by like 20 by, and they won, so he became a fan, basically. So now I have that same soft spot for DePaul. So let's go Demon Deacons. Is that their thing? Am I just... Yeah. No, Blue Demons. What's the Demon Deacons? I have no idea. LaSalle on the road against Loyola Chicago. I like Loyola Chicago here. None of these teams are good. None of these teams have even hit 8 wins yet. But Loyola Chicago, they're fighting for that 6th win, man. They really need that. They're in a really competitive conference, and they finally have like a cupcake on their schedule. So I think they got this. They've been playing some of the better teams in their conference close, even though they have not a ton of wins. It's just they're not good at closing out games, it feels like. I think they can do that against LaSalle here. UIC on the road against Murray State. I don't know what it is about this UIC team, but they scare me. Like, every time I think they're going to lose, they just go in and just take care of business. So I don't know if I need to take action and like jinx them, but I think they're going to win here on the road against Murray State. They've won 4 or 5 straight, and I don't know. I just can't. I can't fade them. I really can't do it. There's a place in my heart for this team that I don't know what to do with them. Even in previous years, they've played Drake when Drake was a tournament team, and they'll beat Drake at home by like 9. I'm like, what is going on? Like, who are you, and where did you come from? What does UIC even stand for? Let's look. Doesn't say. However, I love their logo, the Flames. Go Flames. Please don't prove me wrong. Indiana State at Evansville. I like Evansville here, the underdog. Not by much at home, but they're only a 5-win team. I like them to win here. They beat Indiana State on the road, I think. So I'll take that home underdog. Give me that. Valparaiso at Bradley. I like Bradley to cover here. Bradley's one of those Drake teams that just usually is pretty consistent, like those old Colgate teams that are pretty consistent in making the tournament. I like Bradley. Little Rock at Tennessee Martin. Tennessee Martin is 17-5. Little Rock is 9-3. I like Tennessee Martin here. They're only favored by 6. I just like their money line. I just like them to win. I'm not trying to predict anything crazy here. I just like them to win. SIU Edwardsville. I believe they made the tournament a couple of years ago. Going against Lindenwood on the road. I like Lindenwood here to cover that home spot as well. St. Louis, the 19th ranked team on the road against Davidson. This is the first time, and I believe only time these teams play this year. I like St. Louis to win. I like Davidson, another team I have that weird soft spot for, like Wichita State or something weird. But same with St. Louis, but I like St. Louis here. They're really good, and obviously I believe they still have Robbie, so white chocolate, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you will. So I can't really go against them. Pittsburgh or Schittsburg on the road against Virginia. I like Virginia here. I like Virginia big, as you will see. I just don't trust Pittsburgh. They haven't been very good this year. Virginia's a defensive masterclass of a team, of a university. I believe that Pittsburgh might only score like 47 points here, 56 points here, and Virginia will get like 65, 70. North Carolina State at SMU. These are 2 pretty hot teams right now. They've both been beating up similar teams. They both destroyed Wake Forest on the road. I like SMU to cover that home underdog spot on the road. I think North Carolina State is the better team, more talented team, but they've been inconsistent, and I like SMU. SMU is just like, they're new to the ACC, but they are taking care of business, and I think that is a very respectable trait. Like how JMU joined the Sun Belt and is just taking over business. Every coach they hire, football, basketball, is just a genius. So maybe I should go work for there. And if they hire me, I'll know. And if they don't hire me, then I'll go start bagging groceries. Drake at Belmont. I like Belmont. Sorry, I actually forgot to give Virginia their respect after gassing them up. I like Belmont at home against Drake. Drake is kind of having a down year, and Belmont is having an up year. They're 20-3. Not much more really needs to be said there. This has everything, right? Oh no. Of course, that one UNLV thing has to trickle off the screen. And you all know that's going to bother me. Nevada at Boise State. I like Nevada. They beat Boise State pretty handedly at home, and Boise State, although favored by 6, I can't get over the fact that they lost to the no-win team. I don't remember their name. I believe it was like Hawaii Pacific. Yes. They lost to 1-1 Hawaii Pacific by a point. What am I supposed to think about that team? Obviously, they played USC pretty close. They lost to North Carolina by 10. They beat St. Mary's, so they're clearly not terrible. Maybe I should just be worrying about who is on that Hawaii Pacific squad. Like, where is Hawaii getting all these ballers? Is that the only sport they have in Hawaii? I know it's not, because their football team was really good this year. Whatever's going on in Hawaii, they are putting something in the water. Air Force at Grand Canyon here. Air Force has 3 wins. Grand Canyon, it is their first year in the Mountain West, and they are killing it. Honestly, they are 14-7. They're playing good. They're favored by 25 here, which is really thick. But I wouldn't be surprised. This is kind of like the same look as the Duke Boston College game, except Boston College in this case is 3-18 instead of 9-12 or whatever. So Grand Canyon big, I like that. Rutgers at UCLA, I like UCLA. UCLA is favored by 14. I don't know about all that. Mick Cronin kind of been a little moody lately, but give me UCLA. Following that, give me USC. I don't know. This Indiana team just went and beat UCLA in overtime on the road, which impressive. Winning on the road in a Big Ten game where it's like you're either one of those Pac-12 teams traveling over to the Far East, or you're one of those Far East teams traveling over to the Far West. Those games are really impressive when you win those on the road. It kind of shows poise in your team, like the ability to travel. So it's kind of hard to go against Indiana here, but the USC underdog at home, I can't really pass that up. I think USC is a better team than UCLA. I think UCLA was a little overhyped at the beginning of the year. So give me USC. Wyoming at San Diego State. I like San Diego State here pretty handedly. I don't know about their spread necessarily, but I do think their money line is a lock. And then to cap it off, I like UNLV to win on the road against Fresno State. They are a 2-point underdog basically, but I like it. Fresno State, I don't know. If I had to pick between 2 10-11 teams, I'm not necessarily just going to go with the one at home. I'm going to go with the one that has better wins and better promise. And that just looks like UNLV. I also just like UNLV. They had not a bad football program the other year, and I believe their starting quarterback was injured too, which was even crazier. It's like you're not even a Power 4 school, and your starting quarterback gets injured that you probably had all your marbles on, and you still muster up 9 or 10 wins. That's, that'll put you on the map for sure. Moving on to the NBA, we have the Nuggets visiting the Pistons. The Pistons beat the Nuggets barely without Nikola Jokic on the road pretty recently, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I like the Nuggets to get their revenge with Nikola Jokic back. The Jazz go to the Pacers. This is one of those weird ones. I thought the Pacers were going to win last night against. Well, they did cover. I didn't think they were going to cover against the Rockets last night, and they did. But I feel like when you go that, you put that much effort into a game and lose it, especially against a good team like the Rockets when they don't even have Kevin Durant, you're going to lose the next day on that 1 day rest. Your guys are tired. Pascal Siakam's a pretty, like, veteran player, like Kawhi Leonard, James Harden kind of guy that might need rest. I don't know. I know he's a professional athlete. I'm not saying he's lazy or whatever. But the Jazz are rested, and they beat the Pacers by 25 at home earlier this season, so I think this is a pretty vulnerable spot for the Pacers. The Knicks visiting the Wizards. I like the Knicks to win big here. The Wizards are god awful, and I believe Trae Young's not even playing. I will double check that. You should double check that. But I'll double check it right now. You should do my job for me. What is your problem? Yeah, Trae Young is out, Cam Whitmore is out, Tristan Vukovic is out, Trey Johnson's out, and then New York's only missing Miles McBride and Mitchell Robinson. I don't even know who that is. Call me a casual. I don't even know who that is. So it ain't Jalen Brunson. It ain't Karl Anthony Towns. So Knicks, huge. Give me the Knicks by like 30. Your favorite by 14. Lakers at Nets. I like the Lakers here. Not by a lot. I just think they can win. I don't necessarily think they will win. Like, I could see the Nets covering the spread in any way, shape, or form that they get it done. Whether it's a win by 10, whether it's a win by 1, whether it's a loss by 8, because they're 8.5 spread. But I do like the Lakers. The Nets only beat up, like, bad teams. And I know the Lakers are technically bad, like, their record doesn't look it, but they're just so inconsistent. I feel like I never know what kind of Lakers team I'm gonna get. But I kind of got to go with the Lakers. It's the Nets. Like there's only a few teams I would take over the Lakers over, and the Nets are one of them. The Hawks at the Heat. I like the Heat big here. The Heat just absolutely manhandled the Chicago Bulls, and I believe they're gonna do the same too against the Hawks, who don't have Trae Young anymore, and you know I think 4 points is generous considering they just destroyed Chicago. Celtics at the Mavericks. This is an interesting game. I don't really have a huge definitive pick, but I do think the Celtics will win. I just think if it comes down to coaching, like Joe Mazzulla is going to get it done regardless of if he's playing plumbers. He's somehow going to get that guy to make a layup or get a foul. It's just he has a way with coaching. Bulls at Bucks. I like the Bulls here. Bucks, I just don't know what's going on there. I mean, I'll double check for Giannis real quick. I do not believe he is playing, but Josh Giddey, Trey Jones, Milwaukee's dropped 5 straight. No Giannis and a bunch of people. This is a very injury-riddled matchup here, and I would not recommend putting money on this unless you like have an inside source. The Thunder, however, are playing the Orlando Magic at home, and the Orlando Magic have no Franz Wagner, I mean. So give me the Thunder to cover big. They're only favored by 7 for some reason, even though it's the Thunder. It's the first time these two teams have come into contact, so I think the Magic are about to be shown why they don't even really need to make the play-in tournament, because there's no hope for them. So give me that. Give me the 76ers over the Warriors. They just destroyed the Clippers as I believe they would yesterday. The Warriors have no Jimmy Butler, so it's like even if they don't play Joel Embiid, I think they could get it done. I know they don't have Paul George, but they didn't have Paul George last night, and I think James Harden played, so give me the 76ers and give me the Trailblazers at home over the Suns with no Devin Booker. I don't really know what kind of size the Suns have going on over there and kind of offense they kind of got going on over there without Mr. Devin Booker, so I like the Trailblazers. They're home underdogs. I don't really know why, but give me the Trailblazers. Moving on to hockey, we have the Blue Jackets visiting the Devils. I like the Blue Jackets to win here so that they will have in total split the season series 2-2. The Blue Jackets lost both games at home, but won the game on the road versus the Devils, so I think they do it again here. And I think the line is pretty indicative of that, with the Devils only being favored as a -120 money line, about even. The Capitals at the Flyers. The Capitals, I feel like the Capitals put all of their chips into beating the Islanders at home last night, and they're going to take the day off today against the Flyers. It's the first time they've seen the Flyers, and I think the Flyers are more rested, so give me the Flyers. The Senators at the Hurricanes, kind of the same deal here. The Senators have gotten absolutely manhandled on the road against good teams and versus the Hurricanes just in general. The Senators played yesterday, kind of put all their cards into beating the Penguins, it looked like. So give me the rested Hurricanes. And then give me the Lightning over the Sabres. You see the Sabres on the road, they lose by 3 to the Flames. Like, you put up 7 goals to the Flames, you're gonna put up 11 to the Lightning. Like, I cannot defend that. Penguins at Islanders, these are both teams that played yesterday, so just give me the Islanders at home. I don't know. I do like the under in this game. I really could not imagine there being a lot of points scored in this game. Both of these teams lost the game yesterday and scored less points than I thought they would. The Islanders only scored 1. The Penguins only scored 3. 2 more picks here. Maple Leafs at Oilers. I like the Oilers. The Maple Leafs lost to the Oilers at home by 3, I believe. So give me the Oilers. Maple Leafs have been beating up subpar teams recently. I think the Oilers get this one. And then the Kraken at the Ducks. This is also for the Ducks to split the season series with the Kraken. I just think they're playing better than the Kraken right now, and I don't know. I like the Ducks. The Ducks logo. I know it's not like the old one that people like, but it makes me happy. So, if I were to put together teams that I really believed in winning today, and not only winning but covering their spread, these are those 7 teams. I thought about putting Akron on here for a minute. I will not be doing that. I'm honestly not opposed to having like the Flyers on here, only because I think they could win that game like 5-2, just because the Capitals are not rested. They're an older, I know they're not the older team, they have a lot of young players, but they have old players too. So there's that. I do really like the Nuggets, and I do really like the Heat as well. I do also like the Trailblazers, but I could see them losing. You know what I mean? Like, nothing, that's not like one of those things that I think is definitively sound or set in stone. I can't personally because I'm in Connecticut, but I do like UConn big. And there is one more. I do like UMass. I like UMass a lot big. Only because Central Michigan on the road is not good. I mean, every game they lose by at least 11 in their conference, except to Northern Illinois, who has 7 wins. UMass is 14. One last scroll through here, and I think that's really about it. So, honorable mentions. Hold on, I got a cough. I almost forgot who I picked, but Flyers. Nuggets spread. I'll put it as a spread. I probably should. Hurricane spread. Lightning spread. You spread. You spread. You spread. You spread. You spread. If they're honorable mentions, I might not put in like a crazy, unlikely thing to happen. Like if they have a point cushion, like the Nuggets have a 4-point cushion, I'll take that over whatever. UConn, UMass. Was there any more? Did I say one more and forget about it? If I did, whatever. My brain is all over the place. But yeah. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm definitely going to put these five at the very least in something together. I trust Virginia, I trust Grand Canyon, I trust the Flyers, I trust the Heat, I trust the Nuggets. I can't bet on UConn, I trust UMass, but that will be a second one. Like maybe I'll do Hurricanes, Lightning, Knicks, Thunder, Duke in one, and then I'll do Virginia, Grand Canyon, Flyers, Heat, Nuggets spread, UMass money line, or UMass spread, and then maybe I'll mix them up or combine them or something. Like I'll do all money lines. Then I'll do like all of these together, but just the safe aspects of them. So I'll do 1, 2, disregarding U, and then 3 containing all of them. I'll put UConn down here because I can't bet on it. But yeah, I'm really trying to push that less is more, because as you've seen from the past 2 episodes, like I'm doing too much. Like I'm putting too many legs on these things. I have good picks. Like this was a great pick. But that's the problem. Even if I didn't do too much, like I definitely would have used North Carolina money line, Santa Fe spread, and I definitely would have used Texas Tech. So that's the problem. Like even if I had done less last night, my NBA, like I really was sound on that. And the Avalanche would have messed up my hockey thing 10 times over. Like if I was really considering doing the Predators to win by 2, the Avalanche to win by 2, and the Mammoth to win by 2. I would have been wrong. Even if the Avalanche won by 100, I would have been wrong because the Predators only won by 1. So what I'm learning is it seems like the Predators, when you think they're going to win and score a lot, you should take their over because their goaltending is not good, which is funny because I remember not before this season, but before last season, I remember everyone thought that they were going to be like Stanley Cup contenders because they signed a bunch of people and then they just completely fell off the map. I don't know. I was ready for it too. I was ready for the Predators to be a part of the national scene, but they did not want it. What just happened to me? But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I believe I covered everything. Yeah, I mean, there's only 4 things to cover. And one of them was literally this. So, thank you all for watching. Hopefully, these work out. I really... So if we look at the first day, I was confident the first day. And then yesterday, I was even more confident in my picks yesterday, and they were closer. And today, I'm even more confident in my picks. And it's like, I could have said, like, obviously I could have said yesterday, but like, now's the time to follow my picks because I'm learning from what I did yesterday. But like, I feel like today, at the very least, these 5, like, money lines or bare minimum are so free. Whatever. Maybe the Lightning. Like, maybe the Lightning if you were unsure. But I think everything else on here is set in stone, pretty much. So, I think I might do more. I'll do 4 bets. I'll do 1, all the spreads. 2, all the maybe spreads, some money lines, whatever, depending on what the return looks like. And then I'll do 1 that's all just like the teams to win or cover their underdog spread. And then I'll do 1 that's like Hurricanes, Thunder, Duke, and then maybe the Heat and UMass. just because I really don't want to take any road teams and whatever. It's always good to mix around your picks. I'm starting to see that is like I could go 4 out of 5 on these, but I could go 4 out of 5 on these, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could go 5 out of 6 on these. But if I had just mixed some of them up, I probably would have gone 5 for 5 on like 4 more. If I had made 4 more, whatever, or maybe I would have gone 3 right, 3 wrong. But that's still profit in the parlay world. Like one parlay is profit if it's a good parlay. Like, and that's what the vision here is. It's just optimizing what you know is very likely and trying to configure it in a way that it makes profit. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about the background music I added today. I thought that was a good touch. I think it's a little too quiet, a little too bare-boned if I don't do that. And it took me a little bit to find the playlist that didn't have copyrighted audio, but I did it. But thank you for watching. If you're watching this right around as it comes out, I'm probably streaming right now. I do Fortnite, I do Grand Theft Auto, I do Minecraft, I do Rocket League, I do anything. I might start doing IRL stuff. I mean, as I'm doing right now, whatever you want to consider is IRL. I mean, I'm playing video games IRL, but I don't have a face cam for it. But I might even do like poker streams. Like I do GTA casino streams, but that's not real money. Like I might do a real live, like I'm sitting at a poker table right now in my basement, if you couldn't tell by like the cards and, you know, propaganda behind me. So like we got chips, so maybe something like that. I mean, that could just be eventually, but I'm just trying to explore my options. I don't want to just be stuck to only sports. Not that that would ever be a negative thing, you know what I mean? I could do this forever, even if no one's watching, just because I love it. Like, this is what I want to do. So again, like, if this is your first time, I say thank you 100,000 times and then come up with something else to say before I end it. But thank you for watching. Yeah, stay sexy, you know what I mean? I think that's just gonna be the outro every time. See you guys tomorrow, and good fucking lucking.